Deep in the outback of Australia, in the earlier half of the 20th century, a stockman riding his horse near the side of an old graveyard, which had belonged to a shady hotel called the Min Min Hotel. The hotel had been burned down years prior, and all that remained was the weather-beaten graveyard. As the stockman approached further near the graveyard, a strange ball of light appeared right above the cemetery. This strange encounter frightened the stockman. As he reached the nearest town, he made a report to the local police. He states, "I saw a strange glow appear right in the middle of the cemetery. I looked at it, amazed. The glow got bigger, till it was the size of a watermelon. I couldn't believe my eyes, as I saw it hovering over the ground. And then I broke into a cold sweat, for it started to come towards me." The stockman continued to tell the police that when he rode away, the eerie light would follow him, and it didn't stop until he reached the edge of town. The police didn't believe the stockman's account that night in 1918, but since then, thousands of eyewitnesses have come forward with similar and terrifying accounts of these ghostly lights that follow you. Today, they are known as the Min Min lights. The Min Min lights of Australia get their name from the area known as Min Min in Queensland. Once a small settlement with a hotel, now an uninhabited stretch of desert road. The lights have been reported all over Australia, but the majority of the unexplained phenomenon appears in the Shire of Boolia, Queensland. These mysterious lights have a variety of differing accounts in terms of size, colour and behaviour, but the common theme is that they're only witnessed at night in a remote part of the outback. They appear to hover above the ground, and they seem to follow you. Accounts date back as far as 1838, but according to the Indigenous people of Australia, they have been around a lot longer. To the Aboriginal people of the Kimberley in Western Australia, the Min Min lights are said to be the spirits of the elders looking after the country. Another popular folklore is that people are warned not to approach them or go after them, for those who do will never return. A number of unexplained disappearances have been blamed on the Min Min lights. In 1937, writer Bill Boyang described his own experience about the eerie lights. His words are a ghostly tale in their own right. "We were all sitting, looking into the darkness, well away from the dying campfire and enjoying the cool air after the heat of the day, when suddenly I saw a light. At first, I thought it was someone waving a lantern, but it suddenly rose higher in the air, danced a few jigs, and hovered about, first high and then low, but always keeping at about 50 yards distant." Asking his companions where the lights came from and suggesting that they follow it, he was warned, "It'll lead to your destruction. Where that light is, it leads right into a chasm with a drop of 300 or 400 feet. As soon as you get close to the light, it'll go out over the abyss." Ignoring the warning as complete nonsense, Boyang set off after the floating lights, and here is what he found. "I strode on into the darkness. I'd got to within perhaps 20 yards of the peculiar light, which was still hovering like some huge ball of glowing embers in mid-air about 7 or 8 feet from the ground, when suddenly it swerved abruptly to one side. A man's voice came through the darkness. 'The abyss ain't a dozen yards from where you are. Come back! Come back!' I stopped, but not before I had seen. True to the old fellow's words, that strange light had indeed drifted out over the great chasm. As I watched, the light hesitated, floated back a little towards me. Then, as though tempting me to follow, but at the same time annoyed at the possibility of losing a victim, it glided back again over the chasm where, with a few final erratic movements, it dropped from sight." According to folklore, the lights sometimes disappear very rapidly when fired upon, only to reappear later on. Many accounts also tell of the lights chasing the witnesses as they travel by car. This unexplained aerial phenomenon has both frightened and fascinated people alike. In the small outback town of Boolia, Queensland, where the lights are predominantly witnessed, a small tourism boom has sprung up around the community. There are even tours that are dedicated to the legend, allowing visitors to experience first-hand accounts of the strange glowing orbs. Over the years, people and scientific researchers have tried to explain this unique and strange phenomenon, with hypotheses ranging from uranium ore deposits releasing gas to an inverted mirage forming from the cooler ground temperature compared to hotter air temperatures, refracting lights from over 250 kilometers away, and even UFOs. Whatever the hypothesis, the Min Min lights of Australia remain an unsolved mystery to this day. This has been an episode of Shadow Matter. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to see more content like this, then hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and check the notifications bell. And together, we can explore the strange, the terrifying, the unknown, the Shadow Matter.